Hello all, welcome to my channel. I am Vivek Gaurav and I'll be teaching you dynamic programming. And before we proceed further, a humble request from my side. Please like and subscribe to my channel and also click on the bell icon so that you get notified every time a new video is coming up. Now, let's get started. In this video, we are going to talk about Python keywords and literals. Okay, so now let us discuss the topics that we have. So the first we are going to start with what is a keyword. We'll discussing about the list of Python keywords. We'll be understanding each of the keyword and then we'll be talking about what is literal. So now let's go ahead. So keyword. So keywords, if I define in very simple words, keywords are reserved words. Now your next question will be what is a reserved word? So reserved words are reserved words are those words which have a special meaning, in the memory of the computer, and they cannot be used for your own purpose. So basically, keywords cannot be used as an identifier. In the sense, it cannot be used as a variable name, as a function name, or something like that. Okay, so keywords are special reserved words that convey a special meaning to the compiler or interpreter. In Python we know that it is interpreter, it is not compiler. Okay, and each keyword has a special meaning and a specific operation, and these keywords can't be used as a variable. So now let us have a look at the types of keywords that we have, or the different keywords that we have. So true, false, none, and, as said, there are so many. Okay, so now what we'll be doing is that we'll be understanding each of these keywords, okay, in brief, not in detail, of course, not in detail. Anyway, when they will come back to us, we'll keep on revising it. But the whole idea is that you know what are the keywords and what is the meaning of different keywords that are there in Python, so that sometime if you come across a program, you should not feel like that this is a completely alien term for you. Okay, so now true we already discussed in the last video when we were talking about variable. Like when we talk about boolean, right, boolean data type, it has two values. One is true, which is usually denoted by 1, and the other is false, which is usually denoted as 0. Okay, so true means it represents the boolean true, and if the given condition is true, then it returns true, and non-zero values are treated as true. Non-zero means like 1 2 something like that, and usually we denote it with 1 only. Coming back to false, so it represents the boolean false. If the given condition is false, then it returns false, and 0 value is treated as false. Now you must be wondering that what is given condition is true and what is given condition is false. Okay, so this topic will be using it when we'll be going to conditional statement. When we'll be going to conditional statement, then this true false will be used like anything. Okay, let me just give you an example over here. Let's suppose that you have a is equal to 9 and then you are checking a greater than 6. Okay, now what is the value of a value is 9 and you are checking with greater than 6. So this 9 greater than 6, yes, this is true. So this is one condition. 9 greater than 6 or a greater than 6 was the condition which is returning you true. If I'll check like this, a less than 3, this will return me false. Okay, this will return me false. So this is what condition checking means. Then we have none. Now what is none? It denotes null value or void. Okay, now when I say null value, it doesn't mean it is 0 or an empty set. Okay, an empty list or 0 can't be treated as none. Always remember that. Most of the people sometimes believe that, sir, ye to none hai, sir, this is none. Okay, so it will be 0. No, it is not. None is none. None is not 0. Okay, or it is not an empty list. So it is, remember that none does not indicate 0, false, or any empty data types. Okay, it does not. Going ahead, talking about and, so it is a logical operator, and again this is going to be used very much with conditional statement. This is one of the right hand of conditional operator, you can say that. Okay, conditional statement. Okay, so what is and? So and basically means when you are combining two conditions. Okay, let us understand it how you can combine it. So let us suppose that you want tea and coffee. Okay, you want tea and coffee. Now it might be possible that both are available, or it might be possible that none of them are available, and it might be possible that tea is there but coffee is not there, and it might be possible that tea is not there and coffee is there. So now you see, these are the four scenarios. Both are there, both are not there, one is there, the other is not, and the other one is there, the previous one is not. Okay, so here what you do is that it is used to check the multiple condition, and it returns true if both conditions are true. And consider the table that we have. So truth table basically means you make a scenario, you keep one of the condition as true, the other as false, and you check what will be the output. So this is the truth table. Here we have a condition which is true, and then b which is true. So when both of them are true, it is giving us true. Okay, When one of them is true and the other is false, like in this case A is true, B is false, see what we are getting, you are getting B as false. A and B as false, okay? When again A is false and B is true, one of the condition is true, you are getting false again. And here in the last scenario, both of them are false, so anyway you will get false. So basically, A and B only returns true when both of them are true. Any one of them is false, you are going to get false, okay? If I have to make a truth table with 0 and 1, I will make something like this, A, B, A and B. 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. So 0 0 means 0, 0 1 means 0, 1 0 means 0, 1 1 means then only it is 1. So only when both the conditions are true, then only it is going to return you true. Okay. Coming back to OR. So OR is also a logical operator in Python and it returns true if one of the condition is true. One of the condition is true, it is going to give you true. So tea or coffee, same scenario, tea or coffee. Okay, this tea and coffee both are available. Tea is there, coffee is not. Okay, coffee is not, tea is not there, coffee is there, tea is not there, coffee also is not there. Okay, so if you are wanting tea or coffee, any of them is available, you will take that, right? Any of them is available, you will take it. So here also both of them are available, you will take it. One of them are available, again you will take it. Here also you are available, you will take it. But when none of them are available, then anyway you won't be happy in that scenario, right? So logical operator, it is a logical operator, it returns true if one of the condition is true. The moment one of the condition is found to be true, it will return you true. Like you see here, A true, B true, it is giving you true. A true, B false, it is giving you true. A false, B true, one of the condition is false, it is returning you true. Only when both the conditions are false here, then only it is returning you false. In all the other three scenario, it is returning you true, 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 which is exactly the opposite of or. Okay, here it will not be and, it will be or. Okay, it is a, like, it is a typing mistake over here, ignore that part. If I make you the truth table with 0 and 1, so A and then B, okay, or let me write, let me just clean this and write it again. So here we have A, we have B, we have A or B. So 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. So 0 0 means 0, 0 1 means 1, 1 0 means 1, 1 1 means 1. So any of them is 1, the output is going to be 1. Okay, only when both the cases are 0, then only the output is 0 here. Okay, so this is with OR scenario. Not basically means the opposite. So 0 will become 1, 1 will become 0, right? So true will become false, false will become true. Okay, so it is a logical operator, inverts the truth table, and this is how it works. Coming back to assert. Now assert is a keyword which is used as a debugging tool in Python. Okay, it is used as a debugging tool. Now your next question might be, what is debug? So debug is basically the process of finding the errors in your program and understanding the flow of the program. Okay, we'll be doing that we'll be moving to conditional statement and loops. Now I'll start doing debugging and showing it to you how actually it can be done and how you understand the flow of the program. So assert, this keyword is used as the debugging tool and it checks the correctness of the code and it raises an assertion error if found any error in the code and also print the message with an error. Okay, so basically it is used as a debugging tool. Def basically stand for definition. Def stand for definition and it is used when you are defining a function. Okay, so when we'll be moving to user defined function, UDF, we'll be using def keyword a lot. So this keyword is used to declare the function in Python and it is followed by the function name. Class, we all know that it is used to represent the class in Python and the class is the blueprint of the object and it is the collection of variable and method. When we'll be moving to the OOPS concept, then anyway our program will start with class and end with class only. Okay, continue. So continue is used to stop the execution of the current iteration. So continue, break, these are loop control statement. These are loop control statement. When you are using loop, then if you want to control the loop, then basically use continue and break. Break is used to terminate the loop execution and control transfer to the end of the loop. So let's suppose that you have 10 lines, 1, 2, 3 and then so on and then 10 and then 11. These 10 lines are the part of the loop. Okay, in the third statement you got break. Okay, so the moment the break is there, it will transfer the control to the 11th line. It will not allow 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to execute. So break means terminate the loop execution. Okay, if it is a conditional statement, it is used to represent the conditional statement and the execution of a particular block is decided by the if statement. If condition is true, then only it will happen. What if the condition is not true? Then else will happen. So the else statement is used with the if statement, and when if statement returns false, then the else block is getting executed. Then we have elif. So elif, if you remember, if else if ladder in C or any other programming language, if you have any idea, in case you do not have, then wait for the conditional statement. In case you remember it, then it is just an alternative for that. Here you do not write else if, you write elif. Okay, you remove that se part. So this keyword is used to check the multiple condition, and it is the short for else if. If the previous condition is false, then check until the true condition is found. So basically how you do that, you write if and then you have a condition. If this condition is false, you want to add another condition, so you write elif condition. If this is also false and you want to add another condition, then you write like this and like that else. So elif is, adding more condition to your program. Okay, del keyword, we have already used it, so it is used to delete the reference of the object. Try and except, again a very important topic. It is basically used with exception handling. Now what is exception handling? Exception handling is a process of handling the runtime exception that might occur which you are not aware of. Okay, if you are aware of it, anyway you'll handle, but there can be some situation where you are not aware of and those errors occur. So how to avoid that? So those cases can be avoided by using try except block. Okay, so the try except is used to handle the exception, and the exceptions are runtime errors. They usually happen in the runtime. What is raise? So raise is a keyword which is again used with exception handling, and it is used to throw at the exception forcefully. You want to throw an exception, you raise an exception in that case. Then we have finally, again it is a part of exception handling only. So the finally keyword is used to create a block of code that will always be executed no matter the else block raises an error or not. So finally means anyway it will happen, doesn't matter whether there was an error or not. Okay, then we have for and while, and you already know, like this is for loop. So both keywords are used for iteration, and the for keyword is used to iterate over the sequence like list, tuple, dictionary and string, and a while keyword, while loop, is executed until the condition returns false. Okay, import, again a very important keyword, right? Import keyword is used to import modules in the current Python script, and the module contains a runnable Python code. It contains built-in functions and classes which you can use. Okay, how do you do that? You write import and then you write the name of the library, like let's suppose random. So it will bring the random library to your code. Another example, import pygame, right? So it will bring the pygame library into your code. Then we have another word called from, which is again used with import only. So this keyword is used to import the specific function or attributes in the current Python script. So import, it will bring everything, but if you want a particular thing, then what you do is that you write like this, from pygame. Okay, from pygame, which is a library, you want to import a particular module, let's suppose display. So you write from pygame import display. So what it will do is that from the pygame module, it will bring only a particular module display and not the other modules. Okay, as basically it is used as an alias. Okay, it is used to create a name alias, and it provides the user defined name while importing a module. Pass, this is a very important keyword. Okay, so the pass keyword is used to execute nothing or create a placeholder for future code. Now what is placeholder? Placeholder means you occupy the space and later on if you want to use it, you use it. Okay, so let's suppose if you declare an empty class or a function, let's suppose you are declaring an empty function like def function, but you don't know what to write inside the function now, so you just write pass over there. So what it will do is that this function will be there, okay, but there is no logic. Later on you can come back and write anything. If you would not have used pass, it would have given you an error. Okay, so that is the reason pass keyword is used to execute nothing or create a placeholder for future code. If we declare an empty class or function, it will throw an error, so we can use the pass keyword to declare an empty class or function. Okay, return, the return keyword is used to return the result value or none to the called function. Okay, is again a very important keyword. It is used to check if the two variables refers to the same object or not, and it returns true if they refer to the same object, otherwise it returns false. Global, we have already seen. Global keyword is used to create a global variable inside a function. Any function can access the global variable. Non-local is basically used when you are creating, like it is similar to global and it works with function inside function. Okay, so the non-local is similar to the global and used to work with a variable which is inside the nested function. Now what is nested function? Function inside a function. Okay, so that is non-local. So that was all about non-local. Now coming back to lambda. Now lambda keyword is used to create anonymous function in Python. Now what is anonymous function? Anonymous means without a name. So it is an inline function. Now what is inline function? A single line. Okay, so lambda keyword is used to create an anonymous function in Python. It is an inline function without a name. eld. The eld keyword is used with the Python generator. It stops the function's execution and returns the value to the caller. Okay, so if you want to stop the function's execution, you know which keyword to call. Then we have with. The with keyword is used in the exception handling, and it makes the code cleaner and more readable. Okay, the advantage of using with, we don't need to call close. We do not have to call close. Now what is close? You will understand that when you'll be using it. Okay, do not worry. So that was all about the Python keyword. Now coming back to Python literal. So Python literal can be defined as the data that is given in a variable or a constant. Okay, so if you write a is equal to 5, this is a literal. Okay, so Python literal can be defined as data that is given in a variable or a constant. Let us have a look at the string literal. So string literals can be found by enclosing a text in the quote. We can use both single quotes as well as double quote. We have already seen that, right? We have already seen that how to use single quote, how to use double quote. Like here, Aman is in double quote, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is in single quote. So there are two types of strings supported in Python. Single line strings. Single line strings means that the strings that are terminated within a single line are known as single line string. Like hello, it got terminated here itself. You are not extending it to the another line. Okay, then we have another one which is called multi-line string. So a piece of text that is written in multiple lines is known as multiple line string. Okay, and how do you create a multiple line string? So one example we have already seen in the past class, using triple quotes, right? There is another way that you add a backslash at the end of each line. So the moment you add a backslash, you can write the another text, another line in the next line. Okay, the continuation text in the next line. But the problem is that when you print it, you won't get it in the format that you have printed. So it basically, you won't get hello and user in two different lines. You will get in the same line. Okay, but the other one which we have seen, the using triple quotation mark, that way the way you write it here, the same way you get it here. Okay, without any difference. You break the line here, you get the same thing in the output. Okay, let me take you to the editor and write the code for you. Okay, so let's suppose that we have str1, or let's suppose that name is equal to hello, and then I give slash, and then I give a slash over here, pressed enter, and then I'm writing world. Okay, and then what I'm doing is that I'm writing print name. And the another case what I'm writing is that I'm writing name is equal to, and 3 times single quote, and here I'm writing hello, and here I'm writing world. Okay, now you see the difference that we have in both the cases. Okay, so you see the difference that we have. In one case I'll get hello world together, in the other I'll get hello and world in a similar line. Now you see, can you see hello world is coming in a single line here, and this is basically for this print statement, right, where we use slash. So although we gave slash and we were writing in the second line, the interpreter did not print it in the next line, it printed together only. But when we use single quote, 3 times single quote, it actually printed the way we have written it. Okay, so if you want an output, formatted output, better use 3 times single, 3 times single quotation. In case you just want to give a line break for your understanding, you can use backslash. Okay, so that is all about string literal and all. Now coming back to our program again. So now here boolean literal. So what is boolean literal? So boolean literal can have any two values. We have already seen that, true or false. Like here you see x equal to 1 equal to true. Now we know that the value of true is 1. So 1 equal to 1. So what it will give you? It will give you true. Then you are comparing 2 equal to false. So basically you are comparing 2 equal to 0. What it will be? It will give you false only. So what will be stored in y? Y stored will be false. False will be stored in y. 3 equal to true. When you are writing 3 equal to true, means you are comparing 3 equal to 1. Again it will give you false. Right? So you will get true, false, false. Then you have a equal to true plus 10. The value of true is 1. 1 plus 10 is what? It is 11. False plus 10 is what? 0 plus 10 is what? It will give you 0. So when you will print x, y, z, a, b, you will get true, false, false, 11, 10. You will get true, false, false, 11 and 10. Okay, let me show it to you also, so that you will understand it in a better way. So we have x is equal to 1 equal to bracket 1 equal to true. Okay, and then I write print x. Now you see I'm getting true. But if I'll change this as 2, okay, the moment I'll change it to 2, I'll get false. Can you see that I'm getting false now, right? And if I'll make this as 0 now, 0, I'll again get false. Okay, but the moment I'll make this true as false over here, 0 equal to false, then I'll get true. Now why I'm getting true? Because here what is happening is that 0 equal to 0, and this is true now, because the value of false is 0 only, right? If you write 1 equal to true, then again it will give you true. because 1 equal to 1 you are comparing. So this is true. Okay, so that's how it works. Second thing is that adding value, right? So here let's suppose that you are writing x is equal to x plus, not x plus 10, 11 plus true. Okay, 11 plus true. Okay, and you are writing print x, what you will get? You will get 12. Why you will get 12? You will get 12. Why? Because 11 plus 1, true value was 1, so 11 plus 1 it became 12. That's the reason you are getting 12. In case I write 11 plus false, what I will get? Of course f will be in capital letter, f will be in capital letter, I will get 11 only. Okay, let me show it to you how it will be. So instead of true, I'll write here false, and now if I run this, you see what I'll get? I'll get 11 only. Why? Because the value of false was 0. Okay, so that was all about it. Now coming back again, special literals. When we talk about special literals, so Python contain one special literal, that is none, and none is used to specify to that field that is not created, and it is also used for the end of the list in Python. Okay, it is used to denote the end of the list in Python. Like you see, val 1 is equal to 10, val 2 is equal to none, and print val 2, you get 10 and none. So it contains one special literal which is none, and it is used to specify that field that is not created. Okay, for that reason. And again, we will talk about literal collection, which we have already discussed, so it will just be, you know, I'll go very fast through it. So Python provides the 4 type of literal collection, such as list, tuples, dictionary, and set. So what is list? List you specify in, you know, round bracket separated by comma. You can add item to it, plus, you know, concatenate, multiplication, it will, you know, add the list one more time. Okay, so this is what list is. We have already seen it in the last video. We'll talk about dictionary. Dictionary is like key and value, key and colon value, and it is there within the curly bracket. Okay, so Python dictionary stores the data in the key value pair. It is enclosed by curly braces, and each pair is separated by commas. Then we have tuple. Tuple is immutable. Immutable means you cannot add or you cannot modify it. So Python tuple is a collection of different data type, and it is immutable, which means it cannot be modified after creation. And how do you do it? You do it in round bracket separated by comma. You cannot modify it once it has been created. Okay, addition, subtraction, rest everything, like, you know, plus, and then multiplication, rest everything remains the same. Okay, and the benefit with the list and all this thing is that you do not have to keep, like, you know, similar data type over there. It can have, you know, different data type. List item icon, list contains items of different data types. It can be different data types. Okay, coming back to set, the last one. So set is also in the curly bracket. Okay, the difference between set and dictionary is that, since the similarity is that both uses curly bracket, but the difference is that in set you do not have a key and value. Okay, so set is an unordered data set. Unordered means there is no specific order for that. It is enclosed by the curly bracket, and each element is separated by the comma. Okay, we have already discussed that, and anyway we are going to discuss it, so that's the reason I'm not, you know, spending a lot of time covering these topics. Okay, so that's all in this video. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next video.